Okay, we're on page 20 of your booklet and we're talking about box plots. Now keep in mind, in the last video I said they're also called box and whisker plots because you have this box and it may have whiskers. We don't know how long they are, but that's the sort of shape that you've got. So you've got the box and whiskers. The distance of the box part, because it's going from Q1 up to Q3, when you subtract and do Q3 minus Q1, you end up with the interquartile range. You have your minimum value, you have your maximum value clearly seen, and the line in the box is where your median is. Okay, so it just relates to your 5-number summary. And it could look like the example that's drawn there. So let's have a look at your first example. So now we're on example 18 on page 21. So this box plot summarizes the price, so these are in dollars, of all the books in a bookshop. So this is the price of those books. So the first question says to state the minimum and maximum book prices. So they want to know what's the minimum. So when you're looking for the minimum, you're looking for this value up this end. So the cheapest book that they had was $5. That's all you have to write. The maximum book price will be up the other end. So the dearest book that they had was $50 and it's dollars, so put the units. You can fill that one in. B, the range of book prices. So we used this yesterday. Range is your biggest value minus the smallest. So in this case, your maximum of 50 minus the 5, which means the range is $45. The median book price. So the median is the line that is inside the box. So for this one here, I might color code it. The median is where that line is. And that line is at $20. So the average book price, or the median book price, is $20. D, the interquartile range. We're going to use IQR. Capital IQR stands for interquartile range. You need your Q3, subtract Q1. And I can read them off here. Q3 is here at 35 and Q1 is at 15. So 35 minus 15 is going to leave me with 20, and it's $20. So the range was 45 from your min to your max, but the middle 50% is only spread out by $20. It says 50% of the books are priced below what amount? So 50% of books are below something. So your median, this is the median, and you have 50% of your data beneath there. So this is 50%. So 50% of your data is below that value, and the median was $20. So half the books are cheaper than $20, and the other half of the books are dearer than $20. The next one says 25% of the books are priced above what amount? So the top 25%. Now in between each of these, you've got 25% of your data in there. You've got a quarter of your data in here. This one's a bit more spread out, but you still have 25% of your data there. They're talking about the top 25% in this bit. 25% of the books are priced above what amount? So for this one, it's going to be the $35. You've got a quarter of the data that are dearer than that. And to answer the last question, it says, if there were 1,000 books in the store, how many would be priced below $15? So $15 here, I know that there's 25% of the books are cheaper than the $15, because 15's Q1. That first quarter means you've got a quarter beneath. So if you had 1,000 books, only a quarter of them would be priced below $15. So we want a quarter of 1,000. You could write it as 25% of 1,000. We're looking for 250 books. So if you want to know how to type that in your calculator, you can either do 25 divided by 100 and times it by the number of books you've got, 1,000. Or you could just say, well, what's 1/4 of 1,000 and type that in. Or you could take your 1,000 books and you could divide it evenly into 4, and that would also get you 250. Whichever way makes sense to you to work out 250 books. So that's example 18, just interpreting a box plot. Example 19, constructing a box plot. Now you've got some grid down the bottom of the page that you can draw your graph on. But the first thing we need to do, we've got this data. It's data that represents 11 scores. We've thrown 2 dice and you add the scores together. So if you're playing Monopoly or whatever game, roll your 2 dice and look at the total. Like we did yesterday, the first thing you need to do is put the scores that you've got there in order from smallest to largest. So I'm going to put them in order first. The lowest score is 4. Your next score is 5, and then you've got 2 6s. We've got 2 7s. We've got 2 8s. We've got a 9, a 10, and a 12. 9, 10, 12. So can you write them out in order for me? Then I'm going to go through and work out my 5-number summary. My lowest value is my min, and I want you to label these for me. And your highest value is your max, so you can do them straight away. Then if you count in from each end, you'll find, I think, that you get 5 scores above and below, and that puts 7, this one here, as your median. You've got 5 scores beneath it and 5 above. That means that because we circled the median, that 7 that I circled is not included when I work out Q1 and Q3. So of these bottom 5, this one's in the middle. This is Q1, your lower quartile, and of the others, 9 sits in the middle, so that's Q3. So if you're able to work out your 5-number summary, that's excellent. I usually summarize it, 5-number summary, and list them out, and then I know what I'm going to graph further down. So we've got 4, 6, 7, 9, and 12. So it's those 5 values that I want graphed in a box plot. Okay, so this is probably going to be the first one that you're graphing. So further down, we've got the grid to put these numbers on. Now remember, these were the scores from throwing 2 dice. So I'm going to put a total. Scores from throwing 2 dice. So every graph has a title. It's also going to need to have an axis. So I'm going to get my ruler out and I'm just going to draw it along here. So I've just given you a bit of grid paper to make this a bit easier. And my smallest number is 4 and my largest number is 12. So I might just start at 2, 3. This should fit 4. Okay, so as long as we've got those values, so label what this is. This was the score. Sometimes it's cost, sometimes it's a measurement, it's got units. This is just a score from the dice. So now I'm going to take these 5 numbers and plot them down on my box plot. So I'm going to put little vertical lines. The first one goes at 4. My next one goes at 6, 7, 9, and 12. And then I'm going to use my ruler. The box goes around here. And my whiskers are going to go out to the ends here. So that's a box, and I've got the whiskers. I can just fix this up a little bit. And that's it. That's drawing a box plot. You've seen a parallel box plot, which might be more of a complex number. This is your box plot. Alright, so hopefully you can go ahead and have a look at these questions in bold, which are on your next few pages. First couple, just answer some questions, and then when you have to graph them, this is what they need to look like.